Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jerry Butler once again, and I'm still here at the Galactic Gathering. And right now, I have the wonderful Leo Sprinkle, who is also an accomplished author and professor. And Leo, you just wear so many different hats. I'm just utterly amazed and honored to have you here. Would you please tell the viewers and the listeners exactly who Leo Sprinkle is and some of the phenomenal things that you have done in your lifetime?
I was born in a little town named Rocky Ford, Colorado. Attended the University of Colorado in Boulder. Then later got a doctoral study at the University of Missouri. I started in the 60s with studies of people who described themselves as being on board craft.
Say that again, I'm sorry, I missed that. You did what now?
I started in the 60s doing surveys among people who described themselves as being on board craft, talking with extraterrestrials.
Okay.
So asking them not only to fill out personality inventories, but background information. Later doing hypnosis studies with these people, trying to find out more and more about what's happening, not only in their lives, but also what's happening in their contacts with the extraterrestrials. So it's been a 45-year
ride, so to speak. And that happening, what are some of the things that you have found out? What have been some of the most phenomenal facts that you have found? And do you also put people under hypnosis yourself?
Yes. Yeah, I've been doing that since 1965. And finding out that not only are these people normal in the sense of psychological characteristics, but also they are part of a large movement that's going on not only in the U.S. but all over the planet.
What are some of your best stories on some of the people? Like, man, I remember one time I put somebody under hypnosis, and when I did, let me tell you what they told me, Jerry. Tell me some of the wild, crazy, or unbelievable things that to someone who is not really familiar with this, that wants to get acclimated, they would say, man, you're not going to believe this, Jerry, but look, to give you an example, I had this wonderful gentleman who would put people, take them back to past life regression. So just to authenticate what they were actually doing, he would say, okay, so tell me, what are you listening to? What's happening? She said, well, at a baseball game. And he said, what year is this? It's 1957. Well, who's playing? The Dodgers. They said it's on the radio. It's something really special about it. So the guy, they said, well, who's the coach? He said, it's a new coach that's coaching tonight. The guy goes back and only to find out that during 1957, Leo DeRocha used to be the manager for the Yankees, only to find out that he had some type of, some affiliation with the mafia or something, so they had suspended him for a year. And this particular game had a great deal of importance because it was a new manager that was actually doing it, so he authenticated that. Now, so what are some of the things that you could tell me that could be fact-finding and phenomenal such as that, Leo? Top my story, please.
There are hundreds and hundreds and
hundreds
of stories.
I love it. I love it.
The trouble is, it takes a long time to tell these stories. I'll give you one story.
I love it.
Of a young man who called me and wanted to know why he was having all of this interest in stuff, UFO stuff. He didn't want to read this stuff. He didn't want to go to these conferences, yet he felt impelled to go to these conferences and talk to these silly people. And I said, well, maybe you've had UFO experience yourself. He said, no, I haven't. I said, well, let's talk and find out. So he comes over to Laramie during a weekend, and we do hypnosis, and we go back to age 15 and 10 and 5 and nothing. There's no memory of any flying saucer or ET encounter. So I said, well, what's your attitude about reincarnation? He said, oh, I don't know, maybe. And I said, okay, well, go to that experience that has to do with your interest in flying saucers and in extraterrestrials. He pictures himself as a young man, Native American, crawling through the sagebrush. He sees a light, it gets larger, closer, it turns into an object. There's an opening, he goes inside. He sits down and talks to this little guy. who tells him that he won't remember this experience until he's a white man in another life. He said, "White man? Who wants to be a white man?" And I told him, well, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to.
Okay.
So there are many, many cases where people not only describe experiences in this lifetime with flying saucers or extraterrestrials, but also lifetimes where they themselves were from other planets coming here. And the purpose of coming here at this time is that there's a shift in consciousness. There's a change in the way we perceive ourselves. We're moving from planetary persons to cosmic citizens.
Is this in conjunction with 2012 possibly?
That seems to be the case. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And you know, look, I understand you are indeed a prolific author. Let's not, okay, well, let's not forget about your book, because we want to give you the maximum amount. Just move your fingers a minute so people can see what it is. It's called Soul Samples, and let me see what else it says. Personal explorations and reincarnation and UFO experiences. I want to make sure everybody gets it, so when they go there. And where can your books actually be found, Leo?
Right now, from the author.
Okay, and give us some contact information on if they want to. Say that loudly so people, where can they find it?
1277 1277 North 15th Street. North 15th Street in Laramie, Wyoming. Laramie is L-A-R-A-M-I-E. Laramie, Wyoming, 82072. 82072.
What about an email address?
I haven't gotten into the email yet. One of these days when I grow up. And
you know what? And you're going to start growing up with Jerry Butler, because I'm going to help you, because this word needs to get out, and we need to let others know about you. And I would be honored to have you on my show where thousands others can hear about you. And also I'll help you with a web page, help you get internet presence so that you can point and click. Okay, and I know you're about to go into a conference, and it's probably about 2 minutes before getting ready to start. I want to thank you oh so much, and then we can go out with even more. This is Jerry Butler, and I just want to thank you once again, Leo.
Thank you.